Today, many Americans celebrate Independence Day on July 4th with parades, games, and fireworks, like signer John Adams hoped would be the festive celebrations for what he called the Day of Deliverance. However, on July 2nd, 1776, as the Continental Congress voted for independence, on July 4th, when they adopted the Declaration of Independence, and on August 2nd, when they signed that document, the mood was very different. Pennsylvanian Benjamin Rush later recalled the moment in this way: "A pensive and awful silence which pervaded the House when we were called up one after another to the table of the President of Congress to sign what was believed by many at that time to be our own death warrants." 56 men signed the Declaration of Independence, most adding their names to the document on August 2nd, 1776. They were delegates to the Second Continental Congress from all 13 colonies. A decade before, none of these men would have imagined that they would have been advocating for separation from Great Britain and independence. In their careers, these men had different backgrounds: lawyer, merchant, physician, plantation owner, surveyor, land speculator, scientist, printer, minister, farmer, musician. The majority of signers were married and had children. Their average age was 44 and a half. The oldest signer of the Declaration of Independence was a delegate from Pennsylvania, Benjamin Franklin, at age 70. The two youngest signers were Edward Rutledge and Thomas Lynch, Jr., both 26 and both from South Carolina. Some of the well-known signers include delegates from Massachusetts, John Adams, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock, and delegate from Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, who also authored most of the text of the Declaration of Independence. What about George Washington? George Washington did not sign the Declaration of Independence. He was Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army and in New York at the time. The Continental Congress initially met seeking a way to unite the colonies, representation in the British Parliament, and acknowledgement in the British Parliament of the governing assemblies in the colonies. In the previous months and years, several formal petitions had been sent to the king, but without acknowledgement or the desired results. On June 7, 1776, Richard Henry Lee, a delegate from Virginia, brought forward a plan which he called the Virginia Resolution. It called for three things: a declaration of independence, seeking foreign alliances, and what he called a confederation of the states, which would allow a united war effort. Not all delegates were ready to consider the concept of independence from Great Britain, and the resolution was tabled for about a month. In the meantime, a committee was formed, including Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Livingston, and Roger Sherman, to create a document that would become known as the Declaration of Independence. The Continental Congress delegates debated the proposal. Beginning the debate on July 1st, Delegate John Dickinson from Pennsylvania argued for 2 hours against independence. John Adams, a delegate from Massachusetts, argued in favor of independence. He spoke about the corruption of the British government and the tyrannical actions of the king and parliament, the self-government that already existed in the colonial governing assembly, and his belief that independence would unite and boost the American morale toward the war effort. He also realized that declaring independence and seeking to be a separate nation could encourage European powers to join the conflict on the American side. The discussions continued through July 2nd, when a vote was called for. 12 delegations voted for independence, and those colonies became states. The 13th colony, New York, delayed their vote for independence until July 9th, waiting for confirmation from their state assembly. Some congressional delegates voted for independence, but did not sign the Declaration of Independence. Others signed, but had not been allowed to cast a vote since they were not seated delegates at the time. About 1/5 of the delegates did not support independence and did not sign the Declaration. The signers who voted for independence and later signed the Declaration realized that it would take time for their words to become full reality. Signer John Adams declared, "I am well aware of the toil and blood and treasure that it will cost us to maintain this declaration. We are in the very midst of a revolution, the most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of nations. Battlefield victories were needed, as well as foreign support to secure American independence from Great Britain." The Declaration of Independence, though, serves as the foundation of a new nation, and for the 56 men who signed it, there would be new challenges and new sacrifices ahead of them in the formation of this new country. They changed the course of history and brought in a new era of political liberty.